Newfund is an early-stage venture firm. We invest at seed rounds, primarily in the United States and in France. Our portfolio comprises 80 companies.
Hello, François Véron. Thank you so much for being here with us, Startup Vision, where we try, to give some information to everybody who has so many questions in this time of crisis. It's a sanitary crisis, health crisis, but also economic crisis. And we try to stay positive and to go through this crisis as good as we can and to look to the future. We're trying to find solutions for now and for the future. As you said, Newfund is a fund, a VC fund specialized in early stage. So in fact, you take risks all the time. You know how to choose projects because you're focused on projects and you have less data than others. So what is this crisis changing for you?
Yeah, you're right. And we claim to our LPs, our investors, that early stage venture is, of course, a very risky environment, but paradoxically, it's one of the most prepared in the case of a crisis. And we will be tested, of course, in the current context. What has changed? Well, a lot. As you know, in early stage, we don't have a lot of data points. So we used to meet with entrepreneurs, and in-person meetings are a key element in our decision-making process. With lockdown implemented in California and in France, the two areas where we live, we just cannot meet with people. So, of course, we work remote. We can do a lot of support to our portfolio companies, but we just cannot meet with people. And that is a big hurdle to our investment activity.
So the big question now is, are you going to continue investing now or later, of course? And what is the difference between you and the other VC funds who are specialized more on like Series A and B or with business angels?
We will definitely continue to invest, but we will have to distinguish into two periods here. During the lockdown, investments and even investment committees will be very, very difficult. I think we all have to understand that we're going through very uncertain times. I've been through several crises before. Newfund was launched in 2008, just in the middle of the last financial crisis. But here we're witnessing something very, very different. It's one of the most brutal shock that capitalism has experienced in recent years. So we need the dust to settle a little bit, and we also again need to be able to meet with people. After the lockdown, we hope to be able to recover a normal investment activity. Of course, the context will be very different. It won't be business as usual, but I'm sure that the world will need entrepreneurs, and it's our business to give some money and support to entrepreneurs. So I do hope that we will be on shape and active at that time.
So talking about your portfolio, how do you do it? What are your links and your how do you work with the startups you're already invested in? Do you tell them to be agile, to adapt? Are you coaching them? What do you do with them?
First, we do not pretend to have a solution. Again, it's very uncertain times. And the first thing we want is, we don't want is to be complacent. So things are evolving very rapidly. I would say that the last 2 weeks have been devoted to being conscious of the gravity of the situation, without panicking, or trying not to overreact, but being aware that this is something very special that we're experiencing. We're beginning to organize ourselves right now, and we're switching the focus to sales, preserving existing customers, and avoiding churn, especially for customers who would be looking for additional savings. And also, how do we prepare for the rebound, or also take profit from the lockdown to establish new commercial relationship and do some prospection.
I can see that you're communicating a lot on social media. You're giving advice. You're staying positive while being true, you know, to the situation. And I think it's very important to be here and to be positive, you know, in those times. And what would be your advice to startups that were, you know, trying to launch or ready to launch or just launched, or who were raising some funds?
The two situations are different. If it's a company that already exists and was preparing to contact investors such as Series A investors or Series B investors, I would say just calm down. Be prepared to work in the next month on your business. Don't waste your time with contact with investors. You don't know exactly which investors are really going to be active. A lot of people don't know exactly what is their agenda for the coming weeks or months. And what you don't want to do as an entrepreneur in these times is to waste your time. So I would advise people not to engage in new relationship with investors that they don't know, that they don't trust already. There won't be a lot of Series A, Series B around in the coming weeks and months. If you're a new entrepreneur, just about to start your startup and your new venture, I would encourage you to continue, of course, in that direction, but to really see and have an acid test on how the current situation and how the post-COVID world that will come at some point of time this year will change the project you had. If you consider that nothing has changed, it's probably that you're wrong. So I would advise to take time and really examine very thoroughly your project and why it's a must-have in the times that will open soon.
And when we get out of this crisis, do you see the ecosystem with a slowdown, like the creation of new startups, new investments and everything? Or on the contrary, you imagine a rebound?
Frankly, I don't know. Again, it's very uncertain times. We don't even know everything we should know about the virus itself. There is a lot of scientific uncertainties, at least at my level. I don't understand a lot of things. So I would be very cautious in naming a rebound or envisaging a recession. I think that what we can forecast right now in the United States and probably also in Europe is a very deep recession.
Well, so let's hope for the best. And François.
Yeah, I mean, one last word. I think it's important to be very realistic about the situation. But again, it's a time that we'll need entrepreneurs. We will need new solutions. We will need new ideas. We need people who can start by themselves. And I wouldn't say it's a good time for entrepreneurs, but because I think we're going through tough times, but we desperately need new ideas and entrepreneurs.
So you definitely think that the world will change?
Well, I think it's changing every day, and it's incredible how fast it's changing.
Thank you, François, for those words. Thank you for your time and for being with us at Startup Vision. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Startup Vision. Bye-bye.